Welcome back to LJ's Comic Burrow. My name is Jay, and tonight I'm going to let you know I do not have a co-host. Unfortunately, by the time I got to start recording this, everybody was pretty much asleep, so I just let them go along their merry little way. The last couple of years, I haven't been able to go, and I told you the reason why. So my wife, I love her to death, went out of her way to make me feel very special about since I couldn't go, she was going to do something really nice for me. So the first year, she actually asked me for a list of books that I would be particularly interested in. And I told her, I said, do me a favor, don't get me anything graded. While you're there, just use my CGC information and send it in through there. So that's exactly what she did. So she walked around, and some of the lists of books that I actually gave her to pick up, she found, and I was pretty excited that she didn't really have to pay an arm and a leg for those books at the time. The first book that I'm going to show you is probably one of the greatest series that I have ever started reading and have been enjoying ever since it came out. The Department of Truth. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not a very expensive book to be able to go out and find. And there's plenty of them out there in the wild. But I'm going to be honest also with you. If you do get a chance, please pick it up and read it, because it is one of the best conspiracy theories comic books out there. And hopefully one day, which I keep hearing that the rumor mills that it'll eventually make itself as a TV show. And I'm thinking it'll probably be one amazing book if they can get the right set of characters to play the individuals in the book. So if you ever get a chance, this is one of the books that you definitely should pick up and start reading. The next book I started reading probably 15 books in. So I had to go back and I had to actually pick up the collected issues. And then I found out you didn't need to do that. I mean, I did it personally because I wanted to own them, but you really didn't need to pick them up because each book is an individual story. The only thing that they actually have in common is the actual Ice Cream Man. So if you ever get a chance, you want like some real quirky mysteries and crazy horrors, this is the book you definitely should be able to pick up and read. You should be able to at least go to your comic book store, and I'm going to give you every thumbs up to be able to go get it in this book. The favorite horror stories out there that I'm still reading today, and at this point in time, they really haven't slowed down. If you actually still read their ratings for this book and this series, I mean, they're getting 4 and 5 stars each time they come out with a book. So this is definitely one of those books you should pick up. I'm definitely proud that I actually own it, and I can't say enough good things about this book or series. Now, the last book that she picked up for me, when she picked it up, I didn't care what kind of grade it got. I told her it's the book that I've been looking for. I've been looking for it at the time for the last 4 years, and every time I see it, it goes up, goes down, because they keep talking about having him in the MCU. Eventually, one day they will have him in the MCU. I mean, his image was in Thor, one of the Thor movies, but one day he is going to make it in the MCU, and I'll be super stoked. He is my favorite Thor. Hopefully, he will be your favorite Thor. It's Beta Ray Bill's first appearance. Walt Simonson did an amazing job. I know a lot of people say he's overrated, but I personally think he's underrated. Hell, he even did this. He did Frog Thor. He's done some amazing characters and really told some awesome stories behind the characters that he created. So you ever get a chance to own this book, definitely pick it up, because He is the man, the myth, and the legend, the best Thor out there. So, the following year, my wife brought around a few books that I actually wanted to get signed. Because the first year, I didn't really see anybody that I was interested in having sign some of my books. So I didn't send her anything. I would have probably had her, I would have probably had her go around and get signatures instead of getting books. So the second year, she did that for me, and I'm holding an awesome signature. This was the very first book. I was driving home from Comic-Con. It's the very first book she had signed. It's the man that actually got me back into reading and collecting comics again. He's the man that I think I pretty much read or own all of his work. It's Jim Starlin, and just a smile. It's Jim Starlin. I've gotten so much better at getting books graded too, because it's a 9.2, and it's Jim Starlin's work. Oh my god! And then he called me. Heartbeat. I feel like this is coffee talk. So sad. But he's an awesome, he's a sweetheart of a man. Like I said, he took his time to be able to call me on the phone and talk to me for a little bit. He wished that I was there to be able to get the signature myself. This year I do have one book I want him to sign. It's that Journey in Mystery Volume 2, Number 1. One of the first books that he probably worked on when he started at Marvel. So, Mr. Jim Starlin, some of his best work through Captain Marvel, Adam Warlock. You can't go wrong. And then the Infinity series and the sagas. I know they've had an up and down relationship, Marvel, but you need to bring him back and let's kill off Thanos the right way. The next book, I got a favorite villain. My favorite villain is Thanos. After reading all Jim Starlin's work, he's my favorite villain. But if you're going to limit it down to character favorite, it's going to end up being Spider-Man's Tombstone. Alex Sovic, I'm hoping I'm saying that correct, signed this book for me and then called me on the phone and told me he wished also that I was there to be able to get this signature. I got to have a few minute conversation in between him signing books. I was so touched by this man. He was going through, I know, some medical issues at the time that he was doing the signing, but he did take his time to be able to call me on the phone and be able to talk to me. And you can't say enough about a man that also goes out of his way to be able to make you feel humble that he took the time to call you. First appearance of Tombstone, I bought this book for $20 over at a local comic book store that I will not mention. Best Buy. Especially it being an 8.5 and as old as the book is, I was ecstatic. The last book I had signed and graded. As you can tell, I am an amazing Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man fan in general. And then Wells. But let's look on the best of times and the worst of times. Well, the best of times was a meeting between Spider-Man and Deadpool. So, I saw that the artist was there, and my wife waited in line and got the writer to sign it. That writer, I'm not going to pronounce his name. I would really mess his name up. So I'm just going to show you the signature, and hopefully you know who it is. Uh, I was so happy to get him to sign this book. I absolutely loved this Cable and Deadpool series. So for me to be able to get this book signed and the first meeting between Deadpool and Spider-Man, I had a great year last year when it came to Baltimore Comic Con. I didn't have to wait in the line, and I didn't have to stand there while Frank Miller said F you to everybody. So, I'm going to tell you right now, if you get a chance also to read this Cable and Deadpool series, this is an awesome series. The guy knew how to write Deadpool's, sarcastic conversations and his third point, his breaking of walls. This is a great series to be able to read. So, those are the 3 books that I got signed and graded last year. All of them, I told my wife, just leave them there. Just use my CGC information. And she did. Another thing that my wife had signed, Mr. Jim Shooter was there. Now, I used to own this book. I absolutely had a book that looked just like this. Unfortunately, times got a little tough. I sold it. I'd rather use the money for vet bills than be able to have a book that, just one of those personal decisions. So when my wife came home with this, I had it triple signed by the 3 people that had worked on the book. So my wife came home with this and came home with a sign. I was really, really happy. These are some of the artworks that my wife actually came home with. So the first artwork, and yes, we posterized all these. So the first artwork, as you can see, Mr. Jim Shooter signatures right there. It's a big version of the book that I ended up signing or ended up selling. I'll be honest, you know what this is. This is the origin of the black suit. And Mr. Jim Shooter signature, so can't go wrong with that. The second poster my wife had signed is I like Spider-Man. I do. I absolutely love Spider-Man. And as I already probably told you, I love Spider-Man. But there's one character that I'd probably tie Spider-Man. And Mr. Alex Subik did an artwork after a Ditko drawing, and has my second favorite Spider-Man on it. Spider-Ham! I love this man! Alright, everyone's got their ups and downs and opinions of Spider-Ham. My opinion of Spider-Ham is the second best Spider-Man out there, so when he came up when my wife was showing me the poster and he said he would sign it for me, that's exactly what happened. Brought it home, went to Walmart the next day, and I picked this thing right on up and I put it right on my wall. Spider-Ham, awesome. I was so happy when I got that. And the last one poster I'm going to show you, this is actually something I don't usually go along and show you the stuff my wife's got, but when she came home with this, and I have to show it. This was pretty awesome. So, the gentleman that wrote the Deadpool Cable and Deadpool book, he had posters there where he would actually fill in the text, which was actually pretty cool and pretty unique because not everybody was doing that. My wife got one just for her. As you can tell, this is my wife's story. Unfortunately, my wife died in this story. Cable doesn't think so, but I think Deadpool does. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. Yep. Cable thinks it's Cable doesn't think that she died. But Deadpool's nope, she's dead. We can't help her. So I'm gonna be honest with you. this is one of those. Did an amazing job, amazing work. I'm going to suggest that you meet this man if you get a possible chance. Right there's the signature. If you ever get a chance, the guy does an awesome job filling in all the bubbles. So this, like I said, this is some of the work that and posters and comic books that my wife ended up picking up. So if you actually get a chance to make it down to Comic Con, or hell, if you get to make it down to Baltimore Comic Con, you'll know exactly who I am because I'll be wearing a T-shirt that says "I finally made it." If you get a chance to go to a Comic Con and you get to be able to see the artists and the writers and the colorists and the inkers and God knows who else out there, take a chance, meet the people, and thank them for the beautiful work that they have left you to be able to enjoy and read. And if you really do love the show, please like and subscribe. Thank you. My name is Jay again, and till next week.